Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Explicitly Unbiased. I'm Caleb. Today, we'll be joined by Chris again. We're going to go over all of the games during Wild Card Weekend, the 2 college football playoff games, and try to get the inside track on all the latest in the coaching carousel. Lots of interviews going down. In typical Caleb and Chris podcast fashion, one will probably be hired the second we stop recording, but that's neither here nor there. So let's just get right into it. Let's bang this one out. Let's have ourselves a good start to the week. Good morning, Christopher. How are you?
I'm awake and gonna attack the day. That's about the best we can do. How about you?
And we're starting to hear. Just what better way, honestly?
There you go.
What better way? So let's just start things out with the NFL playoffs. Obviously, Wild Card Weekend went down. How many games was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games to kick off the weekend.
Yep.
And let's dive right into it. The Carolina Panthers and the Los Angeles Rams. Go with that one. The number 4 versus the number 5. Kind of a gritty matchup. It was a 34-31 win for the Rams. Excuse me. Sorry, Carolina fans that weren't watching. I just gave you a little bit of false hope. Matthew Stafford, 24-42, 304, 3 touchdowns. Puka Nacua, 10 for 111 and 1. Had a couple of weird drops that almost cost him the game, but Bryce Young, 21 of 40, 264, touchdown and a pick. Chuba Hubbard, 46 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Bryce Young getting one in as well. Jalen Coker, have yourself a game. 9 catches, 134 and 1. Chris, you catch any of this game? Did you see your division rival putting up a fight?
Yeah, watched this game probably more than I got to watch most of them, actually. And it was a pretty good game in the second half. Stafford came out. I mean, even the Panthers, though, kept it close. I wasn't expecting that in the second half. If anything, I was expecting them to contend more in the first. So, yeah, I thought it was overall a good playoff game, good wild card game for the two teams that we, had in the game. Like, I think everybody expected the Rams, but the Panthers, I didn't expect that type of game. I don't know why, because they beat them in Carolina a few, weeks back, but still overall just a solid game by Bryce Young too. Like in his first playoff appearance to come out, I know he had the interception, and peek my cat jumping up on my table, so my camera moved. But yeah, I thought it was a good game overall.
No, for sure. I mean, 3 points in a wild card matchup, you can't ask for any more. A lot of these games ended up being pretty good. Obviously, the Rams are going to move on to play, I believe.
I think it's the Niners.
The Bears.
Oh, Bears, nice.
They're moving on to play the Bears, and we can just get right into that game. The Bears beating the Packers 31-27. They were up 21-3 at halftime. The Packers were, and the Bears just come storming back with 28 points in the second half to call that one a night. Jordan Love, 24-46, 323, 4 touchdowns. What more do you want from the guy? Caleb Williams, 24-48, 361, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. DeAndre Swift, a touchdown on the ground as well. Romeo Doubs with a crazy game, 8 for 124 and 1, but not as crazy as Colson Levlin, 8 for 137. DJ Moore getting a touchdown as well. Jordan Love kind of had a peak Aaron Rodgers moment where he goes off and the Packers defense just hangs him out to dry. As usual. Obviously, Packers got to put up more points in the second half, no matter what it is. Is it LaFleur with some passive play calling, LaFleur with some weird play calling? Is it Love maybe not hitting all the passes you'd wanted him to? Are you just unable to establish the ground game? But the Bears show up in the second half and they make a giant comeback in the fourth quarter with 25 points.
Yeah, that was what got me. I watched the score. I didn't get to watch that game because I was out and about and got home late. Plus Prime. I don't have actually Prime right now, so was watching the score and I was like, "Oh,
gotta get that fixed ahead of summer."
Yeah, exactly. I got to get that fixed soon, but was like, the Bears are going to lose this game, and then wound up checking it a little into the fourth, and I was like, oh wow, this is a game now. Like they actually came back even with the 2 picks. Caleb was able to come and play. So I mean, Swift seems to be the bright spot there right now, the consistent bright spot with Chicago. So that'll be interesting how they play against the Rams. But overall, I thought that was surprising more so because I thought Green Bay might actually pull that one out just based off how strong they were. But like you said, I think the inability to perform in the second half on the offense, lack of the run game, things like that, really hindered the Packers.
Yeah, and listen, obviously now Matt LaFleur is kind of in this weird spot with his job security. Adam Schefter reported that they're working on an extension for him. How long that is, how long of a leash the organization is going to give him. I mean, not to say that you were expecting a Super Bowl run out of these guys, especially when Micah Parsons went down. But maybe you think that you could do better. Maybe you think that you could get the next hot commodity. Maybe you could get that John Harbaugh that was fired not minutes after we stopped recording last week. We're already in mid-season form.
Yeah.
But yeah, this and just a weird, gritty NFC North matchup.
LaFleur has some sort of cult following too, like amongst the Falcons fans, because everybody's calling for, with Matt Ryan getting the president of football. I've seen all kinds of hollers for like Mike McDaniel and Matt LaFleur to meet back up in Atlanta. I'm just like, that's optimistic thinking, guys.
Do you know what happened last time Matt LaFleur and Matt Ryan were in charge of things down in Atlanta?
I do remember that. Unfortunately, I do. But I think that'll be, if they let him go, I mean, unless they know something we don't and they can get like a Harbaugh, I don't think they're going to let him go.
Now let's go to the Eagles and the Niners. Obviously, the big story out of that is George Kittle, torn Achilles, going to be out for the rest of the playoffs, obviously, and probably miss a good chunk of next year. Already a guy who's dealing with injuries year in, year out, just having a rough go of it career-wise. I mean, I remember him catching hospital balls from Jimmy Garoppolo, getting hit, catching hospital balls from Brock Purdy, getting hit. This one's a non-contact injury, just absolutely tears his Achilles. But no Kittle, no problem. The Niners win 23-19. Purdy 18 of 31, 262, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. McCaffrey not able to do much on the ground, but through the air, 6 for 66 and 2. Demarcus Robinson steps up at receiver, 6 for 111 and 1. As for the Eagles, I mean, look, Jalen Hurts 20 of 35, 168, 1 touchdown. Not the volume you want, not the efficiency you want. QBR 40.6, passer rating is 79.2, only got sacked once. Saquon Barkley, 26 carries, 106 yards, a little better than what his season average is, but still not quite what you want out of him. Devontae Smith, 8 for 70. Dallas Goedert, 4 for 33 and 1. A.J. Brown, 3 for 25 on 7 targets. Lots of crucial drops out of that guy, and it cost the Eagles big time.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. Those drops by A.J. Brown cost them big time. You could see that problem kind of arising a little more. There was, the talks of it all season that he was becoming the diva receiver. Like they wanted to blame it all on him.
Maybe he's moved for a first-round pick to one of these teams, the Patriots, the Bills,
yep,
Raiders, Rams, you name it, Niners.
I mean, I could see the move. It's going to take a first-rounder, though, I think, for Philly to give up on him. They seem, even after, like I said, the rumors this year, they dismissed them all because they seem really set on making that work. And, I mean, I don't blame them because A.J. Brown's a top-tier receiver, but you could tell something's going on, and it cost that team. So I wouldn't be totally surprised, but also, like, the defense was hit or miss from what I saw, too. Like, they weren't that consistent Philly defense that you've come to expect, at least over the last few months and years, for that matter. So it was just a game. Like, it wasn't a great game for Philly, but it wasn't enough to win. Like, that makes
right, and on paper, no disrespect to the 49ers, but the Eagles, with all the talent they had available to them, because, the Niners are hurt. Like, that's no secret about it, and there's no shot at them. That's just what they've dealt with all year.
Right.
The Eagles should have waxed them with the talent that they had, and they lost by 4. And it was, I don't want to say it was largely competitive. I mean, the Eagles were up 13-10 going into halftime. They were up, 16-10 entering the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter, it just got away from the Niners, scored 13 unanswered points. And you gave Christian McCaffrey fits on the ground. Obviously, he tore you up a little bit in the air, but I it's just not the Eagles' year, I guess. I guess the vibes just didn't mesh. Too many things going wrong, whether it's using Saquon inefficiently, maybe there's a lot of drama, as you kind of alluded to. But yeah, just a weird season for the Eagles that probably needed to come to an end a lot about at this point.
Yeah, I mean Saquon's usage has been a big story too. When you watch things, they're like he went out last year and basically was a big part of them winning the Super Bowl, right? His usage and the performance he put on, and then this year it's like non-existent. Basically, they're just not using him. He's not getting the touches, whatever it may be, from week to week. So I think it's big. It'll be interesting to see what happens this offseason with the Eagles because you're reigning Super Bowl champs and they're out the wild card next round or next year. Sorry.
Yeah, we're guaranteed to have new faces in the Super Bowl on both sides.
Definitely.
All right, let's go to the Jaguars and the Bills, the 3 versus 6 on Sunday afternoon. If you had the Bills winning, you made some decent money. The Bills win 27-24. Josh Allen, 28-35, 273, and a touchdown. He also had 2 touchdowns on the ground, kind of putting the team on his back because James Cook was not efficient at all. 15 carries, 46 yards. Khalil Shakir, 12 catches for 82 yards on 12 targets. That guy was mint. Brandon Cooks, 3 for 58. Dalton Kincaid with the lone receiving touchdown. Trevor Lawrence, 18-30, 207, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. ETN, 67 yards on 10 carries. Parker Washington, 7 for 107 and 1. ETN and Brian Thomas Jr. also with receiving touchdowns. Jacoby Myers, 1 for 12 on 4 targets. Not quite what he's been getting through this year. And the Bills show up in Jacksonville, Everbank Stadium, take care of business. I mean, it was a 13-10 game entering the fourth quarter. Jacksonville scores 2 touchdowns. Bills scored 2 touchdowns, and that's it. At one point, it was 24-20 with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and Josh Allen takes care of business. I mean, sometimes it's just the way it goes. I think everybody kind of felt like this was a little too soon for Jacksonville as far as making that deep push.
Yeah.
But they obviously have a core that's worth believing in. You see Trevor Lawrence play like, okay, now he's finally getting it together as one of the top premier quarterbacks in this league, as he should be. Get him some weapons somehow, somewhere. Get healthy on defense. Get Travis Hunter back. See if you can utilize him any better and try to keep him on the field. And you just kind of got burnt by Josh Allen Superman. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I can't add much to that. Josh Allen put the team on his back. He showed you why he was the MVP. So, I mean, that's that. I mean, you can't do much when a guy comes out and just shows out, especially a guy of that caliber. It's hard to.
A lot of those like QB sneaks, he was getting like 5-6 yards. It's just dragging.
He could just. I mean, dude's so big. I feel like he could just lay down and get 5 yards. It looked like anyway in that game, just because they just couldn't stop him. So I mean, it's fun. Like you said though, Jacksonville. It was fun to see them get to the playoffs, considering the bad that they've experienced over the last couple of years. But I don't know if a lot of people had them going very far. I think this was one of our only games we got wrong, if I'm not mistaken, because
we were kind of saying the Bills were cooked.
Yep. So, I mean, we had this game wrong, but I mean, still, I don't know that Jacksonville would have got much further. I think Buffalo's probably a little better suited experience-wise to contend.
Yeah, and now they get to go to Denver next week, where Jacksonville played and won earlier in the year. We'll see if Allen and the Bills can keep up that momentum going into Mile High to set up one of these 2 winners going up there and picking up a win. Let's start with the Sunday night game. The New England Patriots taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Kind of a break from all the awesomeness we got in Wildcard Weekend. It was a 16-3 game. The Patriots kind of had relative control for most of it. Drake May, 17-29, 268, and a touchdown. Was also the team's leading rusher with 66 yards. Ramondre Stevenson with 53 on 10 carries. Not bad. Was also the team's leading receiver, Ramondre Stevenson, 3 for 75. Kayshon Boutte, 4 for 66. Hunter Henry, 3 for 64. And the go-ahead game-winning, I don't want to say game-winning, game-icing touchdown in the fourth quarter. As far as Justin Herbert, 19-31, 159. No touchdowns, no picks. Herbert was also the leading rusher, 57 yards. There's absolutely no offense to be found with the Chargers in this game. And the Patriots, didn't really need it. They just kind of relied on their defense to hold the Chargers to only 3. Drake May didn't have to be Superman to get this win as much as you maybe want to see them score more. But yeah, definitely some things to clean up if you're the Patriots.
Yeah, agreed. I think we talked about it a little bit. It's scary as a non-Patriots fan too, looking in, from the outside, because they're already like in the playoffs and they had a really good defensive game, and you can, like I said, you can still see room for improvement. So the Chargers just weren't there, like whether it be injuries or whatever it may be, that's kind of just derailed that season. They just weren't there. Like they just had no like offensive production. But the Patriots defense was lights out. Like Vrabel had the boys playing, so perks to them. I was a little underwhelmed. I don't know why. Probably with the Chargers, I was just expecting a little more maybe offensive power. Fireworks after what we've got all weekend to that point, but to see a Vrabel defense shut them out was kind of nice too, just as a fan watching it, because you get so used to offensive fireworks, touchdowns, things like that. It's kind of fun to watch a defense just shut somebody down for once.
Yeah, and obviously on offense, definitely some things for the Patriots to improve on. There's a lot of weird turnovers going on with there. I mean, Drake May's getting hit, and he's deciding to throw the ball instead of eat the sack. Kind of letting those old rookie habits creep in. Definitely something that you got to shut down during practice this week. Will Campbell had a pretty rough day on that left side. Again, one of his first games back from injury. Jared Wilson at guard, Georgia boy.
Yep.
First game back from, I believe it was a concussion or a toe injury. It was something along those lines. He missed a good amount of games. This was his first game back, so he had his handful as well. You're hoping that's just kind of shaking off the rust, because the team they're playing against just put belt to ass on Monday night.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be I think the playoffs are going to continue to put out good games. I think, like you said, though, you got to address the mistakes that, a lot of those bad habits, so to say, I guess would be a better way to put it. You got to address those in practice this week for your offense. If you could magically find you like a number one star receiver, that would probably help, But again, I think it's going to be tough. But we'll talk
they
about
have the weapons to compete. They need to figure out the game plan as far as containing these Houston Texans edge rushers, because I'll tell you, they were on point Monday night.
Yeah,
and what could be Aaron Rodgers' last NFL game. Rodgers was 17 to 33, 146, and a pick on 4 sacks. He got hit way more than 4 times. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. Way more.
They finished 30-6 with an L. CJ Stroud, 21 to 32, 250, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Had some incredibly awful moments. Woody Marks, though, 19 carries, 112 yards, and a touchdown. Christian Kirk, 8 for 144 and 1. He's putting up Arizona numbers. But yeah, I mean, just the Texans, unbelievable on that defense. They showed why nobody wants to play them in the playoffs. They marched right into Pittsburgh. Not a particularly easy place to play. I don't care if they're 0-5 in their last 5 playoff games or whatever it is. Yeah. Nobody just marches into Heinz Field and just picks up a win.
Not with the terrible
Mike Tomlin, Aaron Rodgers. Right. You got to have a good game plan. And the Texans did. They put belt to ass.
Yeah, that leads towards the retirement talks too. I think a lot with Rodgers, like 17 for 33. Like, come on, that's not a playoff Rodgers that you would come to expect. But I think too, I saw something where it was like the first road playoff win for Houston in like
their franchise history. Yeah,
their franchise history. Okay, yeah, that's insane to go into a place like
that. Franchise is just like a year older than me.
That's wild. Yeah, that's crazy to not do that. But I mean, D'Amico Ryans has done that since he's came there. He's tried to be different as a coach for Houston. It's worked, but perks to that defense. That defense is scary. If Drake May and them if they come to heads with that, I think you're going to watch a defensive game. It's going to be low scoring, and a mistake is going to determine the difference, I'm afraid.
Yep, and listen, CJ Stroud had his fair share of mistakes last night. A lot of balls that should have been picked off. He had a ball that was picked off. Did he have a lost fumble as well? He lost 2 fumbles. He fumbled 5 times and he lost 2 of them. Just
Yeah. Can't have those mistakes in a defensive game. Those are,
no.
what lose you the game.
And that's probably what you're going to get into as we start to preview next round. The Patriots are favorites by 3. They play on Sunday at 3 p.m. in Gillette Stadium on ESPN/ABC. We've kind of talked about it a lot in the last couple of minutes. Like it's really going to come down to which offense can play mistake-free. And the Texans' offense all year has been just not great. It's been very stagnant, very anemic.
Yeah. Inconsistent.
And the Patriots
anemic.
offense, I mean, they can get off to a slow start, but they usually, Josh McDaniels, maybe not the greatest head coach of all time, but that guy knows how to game plan. He knows how to scheme. He knows how to adapt to get the most out of his guys in certain situations. If there's anybody that can figure out how to handle this Texans pass rush and still find a way to get a win, it's him. But
can your offensive line hold up though after the bad performance they had? Right, you mentioned it coming back from injury. Are they going to be able to bounce back and recover against a pass rush like Houston? That's going to be a big question because Houston's got a defense, as we've said a few times over the last minute. You can't have inconsistent offensive line play when you've got pass rushers like Houston's got.
So, gun to your head, I think I'll take New England in this game just because I think the Patriots will be good enough to take advantage of CJ Stroud's mistakes, whereas Steelers, we kind of knew that their offense was not spectacular themselves. Like it just lacked a lot of firepower. I think the Patriots offense does have a little bit of that. But it's going to be a one possession game. I think 3 points is probably about how it's going to be. I'd probably say like a 23-20 kind of game, a 20-17 kind of game, like rock fight.
Something too to think about is I'm sure the weather is going to be insanely cold. I know it's still a couple days out, so it's probably a little hard to predict, but it's probably going to be cold, and it's a playoff game in Gillette. Like, it's hard to go into. They're one of those stadiums due to the Belichick and Brady areas for a playoff game. When you go in there, it's going to be a tough game. And with an
kickoff, it's going to be feeling like 25 as of right now.
There you go. It gets cold in Houston, but I don't know if it gets that cold.
They got a dome. They don't know cold.
Exactly. So I think that's going to play into it too. I don't care how many Ohio State quarterbacks or Northern players you have on your team in Houston. You go into a different atmosphere like Gillette in a playoff game, especially with a chance to move on in the playoffs, and something Patriots fans haven't done in a while. They've gotten used to mediocrity, so it'll be nice for them to go on. But yeah, I think gun to the head, Patriots are going to pull it out.
You know the last time the Patriots had a playoff win?
No.
Sunday night. I'm kidding. Super Bowl 53 was their last playoff win.
Dang. Yeah. Needed then for that fan base.
Yeah. Not to say that we have it worse than anybody else, but
yeah, definitely.
Let's go to AFC. Let's stick on the AFC side. The number 1 Broncos at the number 6 Bills. Broncos coming off a bye. Bills obviously coming off of a really impressive win in Jacksonville. Is there any fear of Bo Nix coming off of a bye in the playoffs and Sean Payton coming off of a bye in the playoffs? Maybe they come out a little slow and Buffalo has the momentum, or do you think that Denver's good enough that they're going to be able to shut this Superman shit down?
I think it might be a little bit of fear at the beginning of the game, first half at most, but I think that Sean Payton is one of the best coaches in the league at game planning in a sense like that, for having bye weeks and things. And I take that as from watching him with the Saints for so many years. He's just good at that. He had Drew Brees. The question will be, does Bo Nix stand up to the playoff spotlight, or is he going to just be okay? Because he's been I think some people might have even said exceeding expectations this year in an extent.
I think he can be kind of erratic in a lot of these moments.
Yeah, that's exactly. I think that's a lot with him, is his erratic play, and I don't think that's going to play well. But ultimately, I think at the end of the day, just it being at Denver with Sean Payton, I think Broncos are probably going to stop the Superman shit.
I mean, listen, Josh Allen, he's gotten him this far.
Yeah.
And he's doing it all with just Khalil Shakir. Every now and then, James Cook takes an off day. But my line has told me that the Broncos' run defense hasn't been great as of late, like post bye week, their first one. So who knows? Maybe James Cook kind of has a rebound, but it's hard to count Buffalo out of this. But how are you going to pick against them after the year they've had and just the ups and downs of Buffalo throughout the year? Like, they just kind of feel like a team that's on their last breath a lot of the time. So, well, I'll take Denver in that spot -1.5. So it's a pick 'em, but I'll take Denver.
Bo Nix coming out party if he performs. Mark my words. If he's able to perform, this could be his coming out party.
And then you have the number 1 Seahawks versus the number 6 49ers. The Seahawks are 7.5-point favorite coming off of that bye. Not to dive too deep into it, but I'll say this. The only question I have about this game is if Sam Darnold can overcome that stigma. The only way the Seahawks should lose this game is if Sam Darnold has an awful day. Has an awful day in the bright spot, in the big moment that we've all been kind of waiting on. We've been waiting kind of for that ball to drop. It hasn't yet. They were able to maintain and get that number 1 seed, have a big game against the Niners in that week. I believe it was 17 matchup. It wasn't 18. I think it was 17. And they were able to lock up the number 1 seed, no problem. Now they're playing a Niners team that's even more decimated than when they played them. So I think that the only question is if Sam Darnold can not screw it up.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's the biggest question here. You're in Seattle. Like you said, the Niners are decimated injury-wise. It's going to really take a massive screw-up on Darnold's part or some sort of like Hall of Fame MVP performance on Brock Purdy to carry that team. But ultimately, I think the Seahawks are going to get this. It's just there's too much stacked against the Niners. But if Darnold comes out and doesn't perform like we've all kind of been waiting on in a sense throughout this season.
Not hoping for, but definitely waiting for.
Right. Exactly. I think that would be monumental in a sense too. Like, could you imagine them just whiffing this game so badly after the season they had? And then
Sam Darnold is like a number 30 seed in March Madness. You're like, okay, cute story. You knocked off a couple guys. When's the shoe going to drop?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game, but I don't think that they're going to be able to contend long term just due to the injuries and things like that. I think the Seahawks, as long as Darnold, like we said, is the Darnold we saw most of the year, I think the Seahawks are going to win this game.
I think this will probably be the most uncompetitive game of the week. And the line reflects that. I can't wait to be wrong. And the last one of divisional round weekend, the Bears are hosting the number 5 Rams on Saturday night. Or no, that's Sunday night. My apologies. They host them on Sunday night. Another game in Soldier Field. Could be the last one. That's the last one. They still got a couple years to open that stadium. What am I talking about? But the Rams are 3.5-point favorites on the road.
Interesting.
Yeah, so obviously the Bears took advantage of a choking dog in the Packers, and the Rams took care of business against the Panthers, a gritty Panthers team that at some points might have looked better than Chicago in a lot of ways throughout the year. I think it's hard not to look at the Rams and respect that line. Just like they got it, they got the coach, they got the quarterback, they got the receiver playing well, they got a defense playing well, and they're probably not going to spot the Bears a 21-3 lead and like let them give it back. Like if they get up 21-3, that game is over. Not that I expect that to happen because the Rams kind of let guys hang around. I won't say that they choke, but they let them hang around. But I just feel so much better about McVay, Stafford, Nakua than I do about Ben Johnson, who, by the way, is a child for that handshake he gave Matt LaFleur. I don't know. Maybe that's Caleb hates fun, but I think that's one of the most unprofessional scenes in NFL football that I've seen this year. It's right up there with Liam Cohen, like trying to puff his chest out at Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think the Rams have a more complete picture. They're more put together. They're the 5 seed because they played in a really good division, not through any fault of their own. So I feel pretty good about taking the Rams in this spot. Do you have a case for the Bears? You're like, oh, maybe I'm sleeping on them.
Like you said, the fact that the Rams will let them hang around might be the only reason why, because the Bears have played really good when they're kind of a little behind, but like you said, if they get too far behind, I don't know that they're going to be able to just come back like that, like they did against the Packers. Like, I think the Rams are a way better team than the Packers, especially without a Micah Parsons on the Packers side. That plays a big factor into it. So I don't know that I'm with you. I really don't have a case for the Bears unless the Rams just let them stay around too long.
And with that, that's our little divisional round preview. All 4 games going down this weekend. Football season's almost over.
Almost over.
But with all that comes the NFL coaching carousel. I'm not going to get into every team that's interviewed every person, but I'll talk about every job, like the Baltimore Ravens head coaching job. Harbaugh obviously was let go Tuesday afternoon, just a couple hours after we stopped recording. They've requested to interview guys like Clint Kubiak, Cliff Kingsbury, Vance Joseph, Matt Nagy, Brian Flores, Robert Saleh, Joe Brady, and Kevin Stefanski. I think the Ravens job is probably the most popular job of anybody out there, because how often do you get hired as a coach to coach a MVP quarterback in Lamar Jackson, a 2-time MVP quarterback? I think that this is probably the best job on the market. Yeah. Any favorites that you might have for this job that you want to see work with Lamar Jackson?
Man, Cliff Kingsbury with Lamar Jackson, that sounds interesting. Just knowing what he did with Jaden Daniels in Washington, his rookie season, that'd be fun to see. To see if he could actually swing it too again with a proper organization as a head coach. No offense, because I know you have a soft spot for the Arizona team, or the state at least. So I think that would be an interesting one. Or I think the more common choice is probably going to be a Brian Flores, just because that division.
I think Flores fits AFC North football just so well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a better hire in that sense. But does Lamar get say in the coaching? Does he get some sort of pull? I think so. I mean, being your star player basically at this point in his career, definitely think he should have some sort of say. So that'll be interesting. Does the organization go with the better candidate, or do they go with what Lamar wants?
Let's go down to the Arizona Cardinals. They fired Jonathan Gannon a little bit. Was it a little after we recorded?
I think so, yeah.
They've looked to interview Matt Nagy, Vance Joseph, former Falcons head coach Raheem Morris, Clint Kubiak, some guy named Weaver that I guess I might have passed up on. Patriots passing game coordinator Thomas Brown, and Robert Saleh. So the Cardinals immediately looking at a lot of defensive coaches in that mix. I'm not sure how much any of it's going to matter, because the first job is trading Kyler Murray and finding another quarterback. The Cardinals are just a team in disarray. I don't know what they could do to make that situation any better.
Sell the team.
Yes.
At this point. Like, I think that's it. You have to get, and I don't even know that they're going to be able to do it because it's Arizona and they've showed this. You need to get a coach and have some patience with them. Like you said, trade Kyler, let the guy build his team the way.
We're going on to the Falcons. You obviously hired your GM. His name is Matt Ryan.
Good hire. I'm happy with that hire. I saw something the other day that the reason why that hire works is because Matt Ryan actually thinks. They had a game against the Dolphins, and he was commentating it, and he literally asked the question of why isn't the roof open? It was a rainy, gross day, and the Dolphins had just lost the week before in a similar weather type game. Like, that just goes to show you, like, he was in the commentator's booth and thinking about a competitive advantage for his team. So, like,
Do you guys open the roof when it rains?
They don't normally, but they can open that roof. They don't choose to because it's a closed-in stadium, so they've never thought of it. But Matt's like, nah, the Dolphins lost last week in a rainy, cold game. We should open the roof and let rain and all the cold in, and we might have a better chance. I'm like,
you cheeky bastards.
like eight wins in a season. If you're going to give me another one, 9 wins, by doing that, I think your fan base is going to be like, okay, open the roof. We'll suffer for one game, just to get us a little more closer to a double win season or a double-digit win season. So, head coach, the problem there is everybody wants Harbaugh, but I don't know that Arthur Blank's going to open his checkbook unless Matt goes to him and pounds the table, because he wants like $10 million in staffing allowance, and then I think he was making like 17 or so with the Ravens roughly, and people are speculating it's going to take over 20 to get him. So I don't know if Arthur Blank's going to open that checkbook for $30+ million for a coaching staff. That'll be the big question.
But you did interview Harbaugh yesterday.
It's hopeful.
You interviewed Mike McDaniel, or you will today. Then you've obviously interviewed Kevin Stefanski. According to this article, you've also looked into Robert Saleh, Clinton Kubiak, Vance Joseph, Anthony Weaver. So any favorites early coming out?
Early? Yeah, I mean, Mike McDaniel's interesting. Just with the offensive fireworks that they have, that's an offensive brain. Harbaugh's the easy pick. I mean, after that, I mean, it's kind of Stefanski's interesting. Again, like, I don't know that I'd beat the door down for Stefanski, but I think there's potential there. Again, it's kind of like a Kingsbury with a quality organization. You want to see what he could do. Not to say like the Falcons are that much better than Arizona performance-wise.
Better than Cleveland.
Right, exactly. I think they'd have that and ahead of Cleveland, so it might be a different story for Stefanski. But if I'm dreaming big, I want Harbaugh. I think that's a better choice in my opinion, because he's going to staff the team well, or the coaching staff is going to be built well. Would be a better way to put that.
With the Browns, it's better to ask who they haven't interviewed. Todd Monken, Dan Pitcher, Tommy Rees, Jim Schwartz, Aiden Jurd, Jesse Minter, John Harbaugh. I believe they also have interviews lined up with Mike McDaniel. Head coach. I believe this article is a little outdated. There we go. The Browns on their website actually have a head coach interview tracker. Isn't that nice? Yeah, they got Mike McDaniel yesterday. Todd Monken, Aiden Jurd, Dan Pitcher, Tommy Rees, Jim Schwartz. That's it so far.
I'm back.
I think if you want a Mike McDaniel Miami 2.0, you get him in Cleveland. You work him with a head case quarterback like Shedeur Sanders, and you see what happens. But I don't know. I think the Browns, they're a lost cause. They fired stability. So
yeah, I mean, off chance that Shedeur just turns into like Tom Brady 2.0. I don't think that it's going to be very easy for Cleveland over the next. I don't think it's getting any easier, let's put it that way, over the next 5 to 10 years for Cleveland fans.
As for the Raiders, not a ton of names going on. They've requested to interview Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur, brother of Matt. They've also requested to interview Jesse Minter, the Chargers defensive coordinator. Also, Kevin Stefanski, Vance Joseph, Matt Nagy, Clinton Kubiak. So, Stefanski could work there too. Another offensive guy trying to develop a young quarterback that I think will be Mendoza, who gets drafted at the top of the draft. But
probably, I think that's the big grabbing point for Las Vegas, is the fact they have that number 1 pick, and they've got a pretty, they've got the stadium, they've got the atmosphere in Vegas, things like that. You have to make a good coaching decision here. I don't think you can go and have another year with like a Pete Carroll top performance. It's just going to be wholly underwhelming, especially with Brady being the part owner and all that hype being built up around it. I think it's just maybe expectations are a little too high.
As for the Dolphins, they've obviously looked into Harbaugh as everybody else. They've also requested to interview Clint Kubiak, Robert Saleh, and Chris Shula. How about that for some fan service? Get the grandkid.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think the Dolphins though are similar, right? The Dolphins need quarterback. Not to say like Ewers didn't show some bright spots, but I don't know that he's a long-term.
No, I think Tua is gone after this year. He's looking for a fresh start. Tyreek Hill is going to be gone. I mean, this Dolphins job is going to be a complete reboot. For what it's worth, they did hire a Packers executive as their GM. I forget his name, and if you remember, Robert Saleh did spend a season with the Packers as a defensive consultant or an offensive consultant. So maybe some elbows bumped, Just
if you're Robert Saleh, though, do you want to go to another organization that's been what it has for the last 20 years?
Oh, what you mean firing coaches because they won't tank?
Exactly. Exactly my point. Like, I think that's where it becomes interesting for teams like the Dolphins and the Browns specifically, because they have such a history of coaches being fired. Let's be honest about it. So I could see him fitting there, but honestly, like, why would you do that to yourself? Like, come on now. Let's be honest. I think they're going to have to hire someone irrelevant right now. Maybe not like irrelevant completely, but they're going to have to go with a coordinator, like a young up-and-coming coordinator, something to make a splash.
You mean like Chris Shula?
There you go. I mean, perfect. Exactly. Perfect candidate there to make a splash. That's what the fans are going to want in Miami. It's Miami. I mean, they want something that's flashy to make sense to them, but even if they win or not, for that matter.
As for the Giants, they've interviewed Kevin Stefanski, Raheem Morris, Antonio Pierce. Those guys were in-person interviews. Remember Antonio Pierce, the Raiders coach there?
I don't understand the infatuation with Raheem Morris. Like, I know that seems like completely biased, but why? Like,
what does he do?
He's in the horrible NFC South twice, and he still couldn't coach a team because he had the Bucks, couldn't coach the Bucks. And then the Falcons, we obviously saw that. So I still don't understand the infatuation with Raheem Morris. It just doesn't make sense. Stefanski with Jackson Dart and a healthy Scatterboo, that's interesting.
Defense, the Giants have also requested to interview Colts defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo and Mike McCarthy. Shout out to him.
That's intriguing.
They've also got virtual interviews with Vance Joseph, Darren Rizzi, and Clint Kubiak. So
Kubiak's
Giants getting a lot of solid names for sure.
Kubiak's probably going to get a job just with how many interviews he's done, unless somebody just feels like he's not ready for that, and then they communicate it. But I feel like he's going to grab one of these jobs.
As for the Titans, our last one, out of 16 candidates, Chris, 13 of them have head coaching experience in the NFL. So the Titans are looking for some established, some culture, some real tried and true methods. Guys include Vance Joseph, Matt Nagy, Cliff Kingsbury, Raheem Morris, Robert Saleh, Kevin Stefanski, Jesse Minter, Arthur Smith. Oh, Jesus.
Ugh.
Jeff Hafley, Steve Spagnuolo. Ooh. Jason Garrett.
Oh, God. Is it the Cam Ward thought there? Or are they just trying
I'm not done. Chris Shula and Mike McDaniel.
Yeah. I mean, they need experience there, but even then, is that going to be enough? Another franchise, Miami, Cleveland.
Jason Garrett getting interviews in 2025.
They better be paying him to get him off TV is the way I look at it. And they probably are going to have to. Why not lay the money down for a bigger guy?
Like
let's
Harbaugh.
throw it all at him. Yeah, let's just throw the whole sink at him. Here, you have it all. Here's all the money. Hire who you want. You got Cam Ward, and that's really it. Like, I feel like anyway. I don't know of any other
Cam
bright
Ward is
spots.
some aging defensive stars.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a rebuild. It's going to be, I mean, you build it around your quarterback, I feel like, but it's going to be pretty much a rebuild from the ground up, minus the quarterback. And even then, some
Who
people
knows?
are not even sold on Cam Ward.
Who knows? I don't know, man. I think Cliff Kingsbury kind of a tool. I don't know if he's gonna. Because listen, the Cardinals suck. The Cardinals suck, but if you watch his Hard Knocks in 2022, that guy's a freaking tool.
Well,
Tool. He is like he's like what everybody, like all the Gen Xers say they hate about millennials, like just too cool for school.
Yeah.
Wears weird clothes. And just
He
shows up
wasn't
like
even
your
in college.
just shows up like your gym teacher that thinks he makes like $30,000 more a year than he actually does.
Yeah.
You know
Pulls
what I mean?
up driving the Camaro, whereas all the other teachers are driving the SUVs.
He lives in the Camaro.
Yeah, lives in the Camaro. It's funny because he came out of nowhere too when he got that job. He was a
USC offensive coordinator for 2 weeks, and then he's like, "Oh, the Cardinals want me, bet," and then he drafted Kyler Murray.
It's the Patrick Mahomes effect. You can thank him for that because he coached Patrick at Texas Tech, and then Patrick Mahomes did what he did. So they were like, "Oh, we'll just hire Cliff and get him a mobile quarterback, and we're gonna have Patrick Mahomes 2.0."
Man, that guy's a weirdo. He bought a one-way ticket to Thailand after he was fired.
I mean, he was fired and had all that money coming in automatically. I guess I would, do something stupid with it too if I didn't have any responsibilities. Thailand? Probably not. There's better, in my opinion, there's probably better places to go.
Go to an F1 race in Budapest or something. Like,
yeah, there you go. I could do that.
I was
Something
looking
crazy.
at F1 tickets for Las Vegas. Some of them cost like $18,000.
It's insane, the ticket price.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, you guys are in a cult.
Yeah.
But those are all the head. That's the head coach wrap up. Hopefully next time we come on, there will be some moves. And okay, let's go to the college football playoff. Obviously, 2 games went down. Let's start with the Fiesta Bowl, the good game. The Hurricanes beat Ole Miss 31-27. The miracle story is no longer. Carson Beck, 23-37, 268, 2 touchdowns. Mark Fletcher, 133 yards on the ground. Keelan Marion, 7 for 114 1. Malachi Tony, 5 for 81 and 1. Trinidad Chambliss, 23-37, 277 and a touchdown. Kawan Lacey, 11 for 103 and 1. Yeah. Hurricanes are back. They're back in the national championship. Ole Miss goes home. What are your immediate reactions to that?
That was a good game. It came down to the wire, like you said, the better game probably of the two. Miami's, they're solid. They proved it this far, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think they're running into a bulldozer in Indiana. We'll put it to you like that because we'll get into it in a minute. But I think Miami showed that they deserve to be there, and they proved a lot of people right that I heard anyway. That was like, if you see this Miami team in the playoffs, you should be worried because they have the talent. Their defense looked overall good until the end. Everybody was tired, it seemed like, on both defenses. But I think Miami's legit. They could be back. And, they played the transfer portal game with the quarterbacks. So why not just continue it and keep the success going if they can next season?
Yeah, they missed out on Sam Levitt. He's going to LSU.
Is that
I don't know if they have do they have a quarterback at Miami?
Not that I saw, like transfer portal anyway.
Yeah, that's mostly what I meant. Miami football reportedly offered Ty Simpson $6.5 million.
Wow.
Okay.
I think
Levitt went to LSU. He spent the day flirting with Tennessee just to see one more go, but he's going to LSU.
That's good. I think Ole Miss's story was fun. What's interesting with Ole Miss, though, is going to be Chambliss. They're going to court now because he was denied the waiver. So he's going to go to court. Apparently, the NCAA asked him for 30 different pages of medical documents, and his party submitted all of them. And then NCAA still denied his request for a 6th year of eligibility. So Lane Kiffin got involved and had like one of the best NIL lawyers get involved in this case. So now they're going to go to court to get him his 6th year of eligibility or fight the NCAA for it, from what I saw.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how this if this doesn't go well for him to go back to college.
What happened with his NIL money, though? Because he signed a $5 million deal already to return.
That might get null and void.
Yeah, probably.
But I don't know who said this quote, but it says, "We are moving forward under the premise that he's been denied eligibility so that he can at least begin to prepare mentally for the NFL in the pre-draft process, including the Senior Bowl, the East-West Shrine Bowl, and then training for the Combine, if those are the next steps, while simultaneously pursuing the appeals process with the NCAA. The college all-star games are scheduled for the last week of January, and the NFL Combine begins in late February." Smith said, who's Smith? I don't know who Smith is. Probably his lawyer or something. Smith said Chambliss has plenty of time to begin that training, and he advised the quarterback to take his week off after a long season. Smith said that Chambliss intends to graduate from Ole Miss and would be enrolled in class and work towards his degree, even if he can't play in college football next year. So,
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, we'll definitely see how that goes. But yeah, the last big name quarterback was taken off the board, Levitt to LSU. Do you have any quick thoughts about that before we move to Indiana?
It's a good pickup for Kiffin. In my opinion, I think he can do everything that Kiffin wants in a quarterback, and we'll see. I think you're really going to get to see what type of quarterback he is in the SEC. Not that you couldn't see what type of quarterback he was at Arizona State, but
I have questions about his makeup.
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be some serious revelations of Sam Levitt at LSU. I think it's still a good pickup, though, just at the beginning of the book, so to say.
Like, is it bitter ex-girlfriend in me to kind of listen? I'm not one of the ASU fans on Twitter that's just like making fun of him every time he doesn't get a job. Like, I'll send you the tweets because I think they're funny. But I'm not one of these guys that's like, fuck Sam Levitt. Like, I hope he doesn't succeed. I hope he fails. Like, I'm not that bad. But I don't know. I have some weird taste left in my mouth with how he left ASU. Like, not that he left ASU. I think him going to a bigger job at LSU, that's fine and dandy. But you see these posts about these guys who transfer out, like, oh my God, like, thank you so much to this old school. You did so much for me, elevating your career, blah, blah, blah. We're taking the new chapter on elsewhere. Levitt didn't even say a freaking word after he busted his foot. And then he no-showed Kenny's team banquet. And I'm just like, should I be concerned that this guy's kind of soft? Maybe not quite a team player. Maybe not. You know what I mean?
You can see where I came from.
If you're an LSU guy, like, should they be concerned?
Right now, probably not. Because just if Kiffin has the confidence, I think everybody's blindly following Lane right now. So
they have a choice.
Yeah, exactly. They don't really have a choice. So I think right now, no. But again, he goes up against an Alabama, in Tuscaloosa, for example, or he goes to Knoxville and has to play in Tennessee, and he can't cut it. Then you're going to start wondering, like, is he fit for this type of play? Is he fit for this team? Things like that. But also, what you said is a lot of the reasons I felt the way I did towards Carson Beck. His was a little different. Got injured. He did give you like the thanks for all you did for me, blah, blah, blah. Well, then he ghosted Kirby, said he was going to declare for the draft, and then entered the portal without telling anybody.
So even weirder than Sam Levitt. Yeah,
exactly. So, I mean, it's...
Sam Levitt never even officially said that he was going to the portal. Like, he never posted anything about that.
Similar. Like, yeah.
That's what came out, and then his brother was like, oh, no, he didn't say that, but we're evaluating all our options.
Evaluating all the options. Yeah.
And, like, his brother said that? Like, where are you, Sam?
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting. But it's also the nature of what we're in right now, NIL and things like that. You don't have to watch someone set for a year if they transfer. Like, these guys are going and they're able to play. So money talks. As much as we hate to hear that, money talks. And especially for fans of teams like you, for instance, in Arizona State, when you've got powerhouses in the SEC that can just throw endless amounts of money at a player.
Well, like Kenny said, Phil Mickelson, all you need to do is drop $20 million for us.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's all you need right away. Just give me $20 million, we'll be good to go.
Matt Ishbia, I've seen you spend way more money on Bradley Beal. Like, could you throw some over here on the Sun Devils?
We need a little bit of money this way. Throw it, and then I think that's the big thing with this. Just kind of everything you saw it. Being an Arizona State fan with Levitt, you got to watch him go and just basically shop his skills like a free agent. Like, you're not an NFL quarterback. I don't know that you necessarily deserve the right to shop yourself like that. You were getting a scholarship, but that's a different discussion. We'll talk about another time before I go down that tangent. I think
I'm not even mad that he left. I'm just like, I'm mad that how he left.
How he left. Yeah, that was the way it was.
You couldn't pretend to like your teammates.
Yeah. You couldn't even pretend to show up for like the team and the coaching staff who did work around you or rally around you for a period of time. That was
like he was the guy in Tempe, and all of a sudden just
gone.
Here it comes, LSU, whatever.
Sports. That's why we watch, right?
Yeah. Oregon fans do not have any reason to watch. The number one Hoosiers beat the fuck out of them, 56-22. Fernando Mendoza, 17-20, 177, 5 freaking touchdowns. Caitlin Black, 63 yards, 2 touchdowns. Elijah Sarrett with 2 touchdowns. Charlie Becker with a touchdown. Omar Cooper Jr. with a touchdown. EJ Williams Jr. with a touchdown. Dante Moore, 24 of 39, 285, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Dyer Hill Jr., 5 for 86. Yeah, just belt the freaking ass. It was 35-0 or 35-7 at halftime, excuse me. And the Hoosiers move on to their first national championship game, I believe.
Yep.
And the Ducks are still the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah. I mean, Fernando Mendoza showed you why he won the Heisman. I mean, that you could have caught a touchdown. I could have caught a touchdown if he was throwing the ball. It looked like. I felt like that game was either going to go one way or the other. I felt like it was going to be a close game down to kind of like the Ole Miss game was with Miami, or it was going to be a straight belt to ass. And Indiana proved belt to ass because that was crazy to watch, just his performance. But something else to take away from that game is the quarterback play for Oregon. Those are arguably the top 2 quarterbacks in the draft, if more declares. But he didn't perform like Fernando did, whether that be from the game plan or the team, teammates around him, things like that. That's a big kind of implication of that game. But yeah, I don't know that anybody really expected it to be that much of a belt to ass.
And that leaves you with a national championship game of Miami, the U, and Carson Beck and all those guys taking on Heisman winner Fernando Mendoza, a.k.a. Cuban Kirk, as I call him, Kirk Cousins. And the number one Hoosiers Big Ten championship, all the marbles. They put it all down on the table, and this game is being played where?
That's a good question. Miami.
I was thinking that you had all the answers.
Yeah, they're at Hard Rock.
They're in Miami. Oh, boy.
The Hurricanes are going to wear their away unis in their home uniform or in their home stadium.
God, I mean, is this the first time that's happened in college football where the championship was played on home turf? Definitely in the playoff era.
Alabama. Yeah,
definitely
Georgia
in the playoff
Alabama
era, but
in Atlanta. First national championship or the second one Georgia won in their back-to-back seasons was in Atlanta.
So pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, pretty close. Not that big of a deal. But I think that's what's kind of fun. They're gonna see their home fans in their away unis. That'll be an awkward kind of sight. But I think that game has chance to be closer than some might predict. What's the line right now, Caleb?
I can tell you degenerate. -7.5 for Indiana.
Wow.
-8.5 on some other books.
That's crazy. That's probably going to be about how it goes, though. 7 3-point game. I could see that. Like, who scores last? Let's see. Let's put it like that. Who's able to score last with no time left, and that's your winner. Like,
Or Miami scores a garbage time touchdown for pride. Like that's kind of how they feel like this game's gonna go.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be one or the other. It could be a close game that comes down to the end, or it's gonna be another belt to ass. I feel like because we all have expectations of one way or the other.
Oh man, Indiana's been a buzzsaw.
They've been really good. Like
how can you look at who Indiana's played in their last games, and then look at Miami and think it's going to even be close? Like you can't do this with the NFL and these guys played these guys played these guys, this team's clearly better. Like no, that's not how it works.
Indiana,
in college football, who you play is a good kind of measure of how good your team really is.
Yeah,
and Indiana's been a buzzsaw, and the Miami's barely skirting by.
I mean, a freaking win at Happy Valley against a high-ranked Penn State team. You know, that was a hot game. They beat Ohio State for the championship. They beat freaking just Oregon to death, basically. There was no Oregon Duck at the end of that game.
Beat the shit out of Bama.
Yeah, beat the shit out of Bama. So, I mean, it looks really reminiscent of that 2019 LSU team that was led by Joe Burrow. They came out of nowhere and have just dominated. So, it seems like destiny is handing that national championship to Indiana.
Not to say that Miami's a slouch, but only 10 points against Texas A&M and their battered Aggie syndrome.
Yeah.
They beat Ohio State by 10. Good win. They beat Ole Miss by 4. Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin. They were kind of like the team we were talking about with Sam Darnold. We're waiting for that other shoe to drop.
Yep.
And then they beat Ole Miss. So I don't know how you can look at this and say that Miami should be the favorite to win this game. It's just tough sell.
It's going to be hard, and I know it's in Miami, but Indiana's fan base traveled to that Fiesta Bowl. Looking at that stadium, holy crap, dude! It was mostly red. You didn't see any green for the Ducks. So
because the Ducks went home after the first quarter,
exactly. Do you see that in Miami? I don't know, right? That's hurricane territory. I don't know that you're going to get that type of penetration from an Indiana fan base.
But yeah, I think we're both taking Indiana pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I think so. I think Mendoza's going to solidify his top pick in the draft with this.
It's going to be belt to ass, man. Everybody's going to be leaving this this could have been so fun. What the fuck? And it's okay, we'll see you next year.
See you next year. College football starts again. Something too with Indiana is they got the quarterback from TCU on the transfer portal too.
I did see that. Gerardo likes to point out the internet theory that he was a furry that came out. I think it was last year or the year before. It's not true, but he talks about it like it is.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So Belichick in his first game at UNC got beat by a furry.
Yep, got beat by a furry.
Yeah, so very good. Chris, thanks for coming on again as usual. It's much appreciated. I'm very much looking forward to the NASCAR podcast. Short Pit, a NASCAR podcast that comes out hopefully 2 weeks from the date from now. We'll see how your work schedule lines up. But football season's almost over, which means the fun is about to start.
Yep, that's right. That's right. And we got all summer.
We'll see you next week, hopefully. And all you folks at home, make sure you like, subscribe, make sure you follow the page on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It's there. Whether we post on it or not is there, here, there. Follow Chris on Twitter at NASCAR for everyone. The 4 and the 1 are numbers. Follow us at Short Pit Pod when that pod comes up. If you want to talk NASCAR with the fellas. But until then, we'll see you all next week. Have a great week.